Great. We're good to go?
Yeah, it is.
Right. Awesome. Sana, I have a gut feeling that this is going to be one of the best podcasts in this journey. What do you think?
By the way, it started.
No, even before it's starting, I have this feeling. So, yeah, I think it's the amazing vibe that you're radiating from there. So, Sana, so good to have you on the podcast. I'm super thrilled. And
Thank you for inviting me. I'm glad to be on this, and I love ARR. I really relate to that emotion and that title. So,
yeah, of course, I could figure that out, and I was extremely keen to have you on the journey. And then, so I had a little journey to ensure that you were on this journey. So I'll talk about it anyway. So, look, the thing is, I have to say I'm so thankful and grateful to have been in this journey of I Love ARR, and everything started off with a car number plate, and life changed after that.
okay.
So, so you're not aware about that?
No. I need to hear the story. Come on.
Okay, so it was sometime in 2019. Yeah, around May 19th, 2019. I got myself my dream car, and then I wanted to cherish it for the rest of my life. So I got myself a number plate that said "I love ARR,"
Wow.
and then
Crazy stuff.
Sir obviously saw it, and he retweeted, and he had a message in his tweet, and then he commented on Instagram, and then the whole internet came down that day, and phone
Man.
kept buzzing for 2 to 3 weeks or something like that. And so it has been just crazy. I'd never imagined. So anyway, with that aside, um, it was sometime in last year is when this podcast journey started. Again,
Right.
it there was no intent, there was no objective to start a podcast like this, but it just happened to be. And the reason why I wanted to mention this is because all through my life, I've always been listening to only Sir's songs, and so I have not had the need to go and listen to anyone else's compositions as such, because I felt Sir's compositions in various genres was extremely good enough for me. And I was a bit unaware about what was going on outside the ARR world, so to speak. Even now, it is more or less the same thing, but I am so thankful for this journey, for the simple reason because if it wasn't for this journey, I probably wouldn't have come across extremely great talents like yourself. I've come across a number of them in this journey, but I've been even more blown away with yours. I'm not saying this to flatter you because you're on this podcast, but I've been extremely impressed. So I'll tell you how this came about. So it was 2 weeks ago, or 2.5 weeks ago, is when I have to thank the YouTube algorithm for this. Your cover Sunday Kori came up on my feed, and it came up, and I was like, hey, okay, let me have a look. I usually don't go and watch covers, and but this one came up, and I watched it, and I was blown away with the production quality and the way in which the nuances that you had created as part of this cover. You kept the original, but at the same time, you, you just did an amazing job, right?
Thank
And
you.
then I was extremely pleased to have seen a cover like this. And then I binge watched all your videos on your channel. It was amazing. I was blown away even more. And then after that, I said, you know what? I should see if she's available on Spotify. And I looked you up on Spotify, and I was blown away. And I didn't even realize that you had already sung for Sir. And I kept thinking, like while I was watching your videos on your channel, I was thinking, why haven't you sung for Sir yet? And then I looked up on Spotify, and that's when I realized, oh my goodness, you've already sung for Sir. So I have done extensive research as part of this journey. So your guest number 92, and I have a still a long list to go, and I have this crazy Excel spreadsheet with the list of all the musicians, Sir's team members, singers, music director, so on and so forth. But I missed out on you, so I apologize for this. But what I feel is God wanted me to meet you this way, and hence why He put that Sunday Koi cover of yours right in front of me.
There it is.
And amazing, and so thank you so much. So really pleased that you accepted my invite straight away. So you've been extremely kind. Because obviously I would have come across as a stranger, and then I obviously spoke with the team, and then that's how I got in touch with you. And yes, so thank you so much once again for accepting it.
I can see that neon love ARR and that's distracting me. I've been seeing.
Oh, is it?
Very nice. Yeah, it looks really cute.
Do you want me to turn it off or what?
No, it's nice. Like, I can look at it and I can look at your face. I have two things to look at now.
Right. Look, so before we jump into a number of things that I want to talk about, how have you been?
Good. It's been like, especially because of COVID, things have been very different.
Yeah.
I won't call it good or bad because bad, yes, in the sense that a lot of things changed. We couldn't go for gigs for many months, and like going to a recording studio and recording and stuff like that was a little more difficult. But otherwise, I think I concentrated a lot on learning in these last couple of years during the two COVID waves. So it's been like a mixed, like a roller coaster, I can say, because something good and something bad out of it. But all I can say at the end of the day is that everyone's healthy around me, and I'm grateful for that. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, you're looking very positive. You're smiling, so that's a good thing. Right. Look, I have to talk about Sunday Koi. Tell me everything about it, because number one is the production quality was just outstanding. And what I would like to know is, did you have to go about trialing out a few songs before you nailed down on this particular song to go about doing the cover? And
So
also the third part, yeah,
sorry,
sorry.
I
Also,
cut
the
you.
third part that I want to hear is, how did you go about adding your improvisations for this particular cover?
So this is actually in collaboration with Sony Music South, if you're aware. It's on my channel and it's on Sony's channel as well.
Hmm.
And I was just going through their catalog to check what covers I can do. And this song, like I used to love the Hindi version.
Hmm.
I've in fact heard Kabhi Neem Neem more than Sunday Koi before.
Okay.
And I used to love that song. It is one of my favorite Rahman sir
Yeah.
songs. And when I saw this on the catalog and when I searched Sunday Koi is this song, I was like, okay, we have to do this because it's a very different kind of a song to do as a cover.
Yeah.
There are not many covers of that song. So that's how I selected that. One is because I love that song, like especially the Hindi version. And when I heard the Tamil one, I was like, wow, like now Tamil version, so let's do it. And as far as the production goes, the music production has been done by Prasanna Suresh. He's an amazing music producer and he's a huge Rahman sir fan as well. He's a
Oh,
very
yeah?
yeah. So he's produced the track, and in fact, we have produced he's produced many of my tracks, most of it. I can say 95% of my work on YouTube is actually produced by Prasanna Suresh.
Yeah.
That's the audio bit. So I don't know if you watched. I had done a cover of Kehna Hi Kya, Enna Sona, all Rahman sir songs, and
I watched all your covers here.
so he's done the audio production for them. He's a huge fan. We both are huge Rahman sir fans.
Wow.
And so that's the audio. And the video was shot in Bombay. I stay in Bombay. So it was a set around Bombay, like a couple of hours from the city.
Yeah.
And we were there. It's been shot by this guy named Himanshu Agarwal. He's an amazing cinematographer.
Right.
And we edited it and like it was given for DI and we released it. Like, so the process was pretty much the same. But I guess this song, this composition itself, it's so magical that people kind of noticed it. Like I have been doing a lot of covers, but there are certain songs which stand out
Yeah.
by the virtue of the quality of the song. The song itself is so beautiful.
Yeah.
So probably that was one. And about adding nuances to it, I think it just came naturally. Like I was just listening to Madhushri ma'am's vocal on it, and when I was singing, there were certain variations which I felt okay, I can try it out, and it worked well, so I kept it. Like I'm very skeptical about these things because people are very sensitive to the original version always.
True.
So I didn't want to add something that would kind of take away from the beauty of the original. So I kept that in mind and I kept it very subtle. Like if you know the variations, if at all there's something different, it'll be very subtle. It's not something which is like, which might distract you or you think that yeah, ये तो बहुत ही अलग गा दिया है इसने. So, so yeah, that was the process. It's pretty much the same like how I follow for my other covers, but this particular song, maybe because the song itself is so beautiful, and yeah, the production, the team has done a brilliant job, and it's been mixed by this guy named Navneet Balchandran. He's from Chennai,
Right.
and all of them, they've done a brilliant job. So I think it's the team effort which kind of showed in this.
Nice. How long did it take right from the start till the time you released it?
So
I'm just curious because
there were
for
gaps.
cover for this production quality, I'm just curious to know how long it actually takes.
So I shot it in July. We took around 3 to 4 days. That's my dog scratching in the background. Okay, so don't get distracted.
My dog is sleeping on my bed.
And then
What sort of dog do you have?
he's an Indian pariah, like street dog, which is just adopted. Like he's adopted himself into the house actually. He's taken decision to come into the house, but he fell sick and we were like taking care of him. We took him to the vet. So because of that, he's just being around because he likes people around.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
so I think it took around, if I had to like eliminate all the gaps, then probably 15 days.
Is it? That's all.
20 days actually. 25 days.
Yeah.
Let's just because I actually forgot about the audio. The audio took around like say a week or so, a week and a half, around 10 days. Like me recording, production, so everything together and the mix. So that took around 10 to 12 days. And the video took around 15 days. So yeah, it's 25 days. So you can say that a month is a good time to give.
Do all your covers of that production quality usually take that long, or it depends?
Actually, every video it's different. Like some songs, things just fall in place quickly, and there are some songs which I've worked on for like 6 months also. Like if I'm not happy, I keep eliminating the version and I keep re-recording or whatever.
Yeah.
Certain songs. I know these are covers and people might say that why so much effort for a cover. But see, in the end, it's like a tribute to the original version. And I don't want to put out something that's not sounding nice or doesn't look nice on my channel. So I just see to it that, I'm happy with what comes out. So I don't really fix a time frame. But with this, we had a deadline because it was with Sony. So it had to be done in a particular time frame.
Yeah. It does show in the output. So that's why I've been very curious. And
Thank you so much.
so after I watched that video, right, and then I shared it within the I Love ARR community, and then thankfully no one had watched it by then, and that was the first time they were all watching it, and they were all blown away with the production quality and the way in which you had sung and stuff like that. And then I still remember one of the fans said the best part about this cover is the respect for the original composer is retained. And so I thought I should pass that on to you. And the number of guys have gone to your channel and started watching all your videos there, and I saw a whole heap of discussion happening in the group just about your channel and your covers. So I mean, it's just amazing. So I also do want to hear about your other songs too, like your other covers. For example, Enna Sona, right? That's another very well done cover. You've done a great job there too. And the one I absolutely loved was the fusion between Lamho Ke Daman Mein and Kal Ho Na Ho, that one.
Yeah, so that was produced by Prasanna Suresh, and the video has been shot by Johnny Francis.
Right.
And so it was one of those songs, like in Lamho Ke Daman Mein, it has my favorite singer, which is Sonu, and my favorite composer, which is Rahman sir. So I thought I have to do hit that song as well as a few other songs because it was a Sonali tribute. But I have another Rahman sir tribute which I had made for his birthday. I don't know if you've come across that.
Yeah, the medley one, right? Of course.
Yeah, where Prasanna is playing the keys and I'm singing.
Yeah, it was amazing.
A pure dedication to sir.
Yeah.
heartfelt. Those songs, like both of us, me and Prasanna, we love those songs. So we thought we should do it. So,
It wasn't an easy song actually, because you started off with Tere Bina and then you jumped on to Hai Rete, and then what was the third song? I can't remember. Agar Tum Saath Ho.
Agar Tum Saath Ho, yeah.
Oof. I don't know how you did it, but as a hardcore fan, we know where to look for any flaws, and then you were just flawless. Not that we were, I was being picky or anything, but just trying to look at, okay, how has she done this part, and you just nailed it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's especially the Terebina part, Terebina song. It's not an easy song at all.
Yeah, actually, all of Rahman sir's songs are very challenging, to sing. I've always, even when I did Tu Hai with him, Mohenjo-daro and Main Idara, like everything is challenging in its own way.
Mm,
And this pressure, of course, that I'm singing for sir, so I have to be,
of
have
course,
to do well. Yeah.
of course. And while I was binge watching your videos on your channel, one of the songs that I saw obviously was Kanmani Anboda Kadalan. And this one brought back so many memories. Of course, like this is like back in my childhood when I watched the movie along with my dad in the theater, Guna, and then that was how long ago I had heard that song, and I had never gone back. As I told you, I'm always like ARR, that's it, and that's how I've been. And yeah, that particular it brought back memories, and you had sung really well as well with that one. So, look, I don't know. I have to ask you to sing two lines of that song if that's okay.
கண்மணி அன்போடு காதலன் நான் எழுதும் கடிதமே பொன்மணி உன் வீட்டு சௌக்கியமா நான் இங்கு சௌக்கியமே உன்னை எண்ணி பார்க்கையில் கவிதை கொட்டது அதை எழுத நினைக்கையில் வார்த்தை முட்டது ஓ கண்மணி அன்போடு காதலன் நான் எழுதும் கடிதமே.
Wow, amazing, beautiful, amazing. So, what's your childhood been like? Obviously, you've learned music, right?
Right. So
Yeah.
I started off with Carnatic classical first.
Huh. Okay. Wow.
Because my mom used to sing
Yeah.
and she enrolled me into Carnatic classical. But that was like very informal training,
Yeah.
not very hardcore, very informal. And I did that like from my first standard to sixth standard, like first grade to sixth grade. I was just learning Carnatic.
Oh wow! Right from that age.
Yeah, so I'm learning since the age of 5. But honestly, I started learning only 3 years back. Like I have a story for that. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
So I did 6 years of that, and then I switched to Hindustani because I wanted to try a new style. And I was singing more of Hindi songs, so I needed that Hindustani touch, more than the Carnatic touch, because I wasn't singing a lot of. Being in Bombay, I was singing Hindi songs. So I started doing Hindustani, and that was formal, but that was with exams and stuff like that. And I learned many ragas during that period. But I do feel that as a child, you're not very mature to grasp certain things. And I did feel that later on in my profession, where when I felt I needed to improvise on something, I just felt that okay, there's a roadblock here. I need to develop on this particular skill of mine. So again, I joined advanced Hindustani classical sessions with my Guruji, Sunil Burgaonkar ji. So my Carnatic Guruji, her name is Sundari Gopalakrishnan ma'am, and my first Hindustani Guruji, her name is Madhumanti Pethe ma'am. And now I'm learning under Sunil Burgaonkar ji.
Right.
So with Sunil Burgaonkar ji, how it works is we do one rag like for say 3 months, 4 months. There's no time limit.
Right.
So that makes me learn to improvise and develop on one thought and relax and ease into this whole process. Like it's not very structured.
Right.
So I feel like now my mind is slowly opening up. And so I do, like I have had amazing teachers, but I think I feel a little more prepared now in terms of learning and developing as a singer.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. And childhood, I've done a lot of. So my mom used to take me to do a lot of stage shows, So before I finished my 10th grade itself, I had done around 1,000 stage shows. And they were like all orchestras. They were not events. We used to
Yeah.
go to
Yeah.
different schools. And my first show was when I was in my third standard.
Yeah.
And that my first show, the payment was 250 rupees. I still remember that. So it's started off now when I look back at it, I'm like, wow, like what a journey. I started my mom has to be given the credit for this. Like she took me everywhere for all the shows and
Yeah.
all kinds of like in Bombay, all हर गली नुक्कड़ में मैंने show किया. Like it's that way, गणपति का show, कोई भी show,
Wow.
like, and a lot of auditorium shows. Like now those things don't happen. Now it's events, right?
Yeah.
But back then, this was a huge thing, like, having shows in auditoriums and halls and stuff like that. And then Onam program. So I did a lot of that. And then after I finished my engineering, I got into music like full fledged. I took this up as my 24/7 thing.
Mm.
And I started doing events, and then I met Rahman sir. I got my own band. So from that to now, I think it's been a beautiful journey, and it's very humbling, to be able to do such things.
Wow. Just out of curiosity, what did you specialize in your engineering?
I'm a computer engineer.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, I spent 4 years of my life playing Minesweeper for some reason. Like, like I literally did that because I was a good student, okay. I got into engineering like through my entrance exams.
Yeah.
I got a good rank. I got into the engineering college very smoothly. I didn't have any problem. But after I started doing it, I was like, what am I doing? Why am I here? All this life, all this while I've been, training myself in music and doing shows, and
Yeah.
this doesn't match. And my parents actually never pressurized me to do anything. They had told me, do what you want, just finish your graduation and do whatever you want.
Yeah.
That was the condition.
Yeah.
But towards the end of engineering, when my friends started sitting for placements, I was like, यार ये क्या चल रहा है? कुछ मजा नहीं आ रहा है. And then after my final year, I just took that leap of faith, and I thought, I should try. Even whether it works out or not, I should try, because I have put effort into learning this craft, and
Yeah.
my mom has put so much effort, and so I just want to try, and by God's grace, things are, they're working well. It's a
Interesting.
meaningful
Yeah.
journey.
It's amazing. Like stories like this inspires me because obviously you've done your engineering and you're done with the graduation, and then you still followed your passion, right? And this is amazing. and so look, of course, I do have to touch on some of your other covers as well. Jashne Bahara, right? And that's also another amazing one. Tell me about it.
So, Jashne Bahara, it was shot at Vasai Fort, which is like just an hour from my place.
Yeah.
And that's been directed by Chintamani. He has directed a lot of my covers, like the initial covers have all been directed by him.
Right.
And my sister, her name is Sajita, she's been a very integral part of all these videos. She used to do my styling and stuff like that. Again, produced by Prasanna and shot by Johnny. Like I like to have a home team.
Yeah.
Because we have a very similar wavelength.
Yeah.
And I think that really helps.
Mm.
Of course, I'm open to working with more people, but when it comes to my core work, I really like to have a home team because we all are on a similar page, and we can actually, give inputs and create something nice out of it.
Mm.
So on that day, I think, like it didn't take much time to shoot it, but I think the cover did really well. Like people liked it a lot, and there was very good engagement on it.
Mm.
And I saw a lot of people making like when TikTok was not banned in India, there were a lot of TikTok videos, and then I saw a lot of reels being made on Jashne Bahara. So I realized that even now people, they comment on it and they message me saying that we really like this version.
Yeah.
So when you see the love, then it's nice. It feels nice.
Amazing. It's one of my most favorite songs, and then I watched it a few times. So you've done a brilliant job in that one. I remember sharing that to the community as well. Look, am I stretching the boundaries if I ask you to sing maybe one line of that one?
Yeah, sure. कहने को जश्न बहारा है, इश्क ये देख के हैरान है, फूल से खुशबू खफा खफा है गुलशन में, छुपा है कोई रंज फिजा के चलन में.
Amazing. Amazing. How do you do this? You keep your eyes open, you smile, and you sing, and you remember the lyrics. How too much of coordination happening.
Lyrics is something, I'm not really that great at lyrics, but Rahman sir songs, for some reason, I'm just like you. I have heard, like, I've spent majority of my childhood listening to Rahman sir songs only,
Yeah.
like a fanatic.
Yeah.
Like now, because I'm in the industry, like I listen to a lot of other songs, but my go-to, like, music is always Rahman sir. So
Right.
for some reason, I don't really, forget his words, but I'm not that great at remembering. And now, especially because when we're doing different languages, it's very challenging to remember because I'm a Malayalam. So
Yeah.
if I'm singing in Tamil and Telugu and Kannada or Marathi, Bengali, I'm like, oh God, so many languages. But I try, I try. Sometimes I forget my own songs, which is very embarrassing, but I just say sorry. That's the only thing I can do.
And do you can speak Tamil and all, right? Or you
No, I speak Malayalam.
yeah.
I'm trying to learn Tamil. Like I try to install an app and the basic
Oh, is
questions.
that how? Because I was just gonna ask you, how do you get like obviously Sandakori, right? And you got the diction right. So that's why I was curious.
So
Not
for
just
some
that one, even
reason,
others.
like someone from Sony was helping me, and
Huh.
he's Tamil, very good. He's a musician as well. His name is Achintya. So he helped me out with the words, and I, like word by word, I was getting it corrected from him. Like there are certain sounds right, in Tamil, like when you say there's an air sound to everything. Like how do I say? Kaya vecha nenjukulle,
Yeah,
nenjukulle.
yeah. Correct.
If it was Malayalam, it would be something else, nenjukulle, or it would be a. So these things I had to work on, and he really helped me out with these nuances.
Right.
And I have like many Tamil friends. So even my engineer, my next engineer also was a Tamil
Yeah.
speaking person. So he also gave me some corrections. So I kind of had to record certain parts a couple of times or 2, 3 times to get that right. So once that was done, then only I let it go.
Right. Right. And did you learn dancing as part of this journey? Because you obviously danced well in your covers.
I love to dance. I love to dance. So now I've started learning. Like it's been a couple of years since I started learning,
Mm,
but I've been dancing since childhood because I love to dance.
right.
And I think dance comes naturally to many people, if I'm not wrong. Like if
Yeah.
you the kids these days, like what we do is nothing. If you see kids these days on reels, they are crazy. And even without any training, that's because you're exposed to so much
Yeah.
information and so many videos.
Yeah.
So you get that rhythm in your body and you at least learn to groove. So I used to groove to music and stuff like that, being a musician and love because I love to dance. But now I've started learning dance, so it's a little more nuanced than before, and
Mm,
I'm able to figure out, like how to make something look better. Like before, I wouldn't understand, but now I think I'm getting a little better at that. So I'm learning, and in Sandakoi, the choreography has been done by Arunima De. She is the one I'm learning from. So she
right.
only pulled back those bits, like pai, pole, and all those steps. She was the
Nice.
one.
Nice. And then, so do you usually choose some sort of a color palette, is it, for the shoot? Because obviously, what I've noticed is you're like a bright colored person, and so obviously your top says it all too, and then also the stuff that you wear in your cover. So uh,
I think the transition because I started off as a very like in it, my first cover was on my terrace. I don't know if you've seen that. It was a song. It
if you
was a
tell me the
cover.
song, I'll tell you which one is this.
The song name was Man Marzi, huh? Or even if you watch Or Angrez, like that's
Ah,
shot.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so that was shot on a 12 megapixel Sony, the
yeah,
small digicam.
yeah.
And after that, I kind of learned many things. When I used to see things, I used to feel, okay, this is looking dull. I think I might have to try this.
Mm,
So a lot of trial and error happens in the process.
mm,
And that's how I've come to this where, I intrinsically understand that certain things might work and might not work on screen, whether it's
mm,
my angles or a
mm,
certain kind of makeup or a certain kind of accessory. And my sister, she's like amazing with the color palette. So she
mm,
really helps me out with that. So if we have a particular background, then like for example, Sandakoi had three different kinds of
mm,
locations, right?
mm,
So we had to color coordinate because if you're having a blue background, then you have to wear something which is which goes well with that. If
mm,
it's an orange background, you have to wear something. So we discuss that, and we kind of decide what to wear and stuff like that.
Right.
So
Right.
my sister has a huge contribution in that whole
Mm.
color sense thing.
Mm.
And yeah, so now probably it's a little brighter because actually I do it according to the song. The song is bright. I think it's nice to have Sandakoi is a bright song. It has the brightness in it. So we just thought we should keep it bright and nice.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the reason why I asked this is obviously it shows in the output, and then there's obviously a lot of homework that's gone behind producing something like this because the production quality is so good. And as I said, I usually stay away from all covers, but I got hooked looking at your covers because of the production quality in it and the nuances and stuff that I spoke about. And since you mentioned Orangres, Mr. Rakesh Om Prakash Mehra was also on the podcast just 2.5 weeks ago.
Oh, wow,
And
nice, nice,
obviously,
nice.
we spoke about Baag Milka Baag. And the reason why I mentioned that, obviously, I am a hardcore ARR fan. I usually don't go and listen to other composers. But there was a time where I'm into running here, I'm doing marathons and stuff. And then I needed to watch or do anything that would inspire me or give me the motivation the day before the race, and that's how I ended up watching Baag Milka Baag, and that's how I actually came to know about that song, Orang Race. So
Oh,
things happen like by accident or if it's meant to be that way, and so that was the last time I heard, and then now I watched your covers, and then that's the next time I heard. So and yeah, I mean you've done a great job in that one too, and so look, it's actually turned out to be one of my favorites. Maybe one line of that one.
sure. Hmm. ओ रंग रेज तेरे रंग दरिया ओ रंग रेज तेरे रंग दरिया में डूबना है बस तेरा बनके है नहीं रहना दूजा बन के अपने ही रंग में मुझको रंग दे धीमे धीमे रंग में मुझको रंग दे सौंदे सौंदे रंग में मुझको रंग देना रंग देना रंग देना.
Beautiful, love it, amazing, amazing. But and look, you got loyal fans, and since the time I put that story up on thing saying that you're coming on the podcast, I've been getting a lot of messages, like literally messaging me and asking me, okay, when is this happening? When will you release? And how long will you take to edit the podcast and then release? All these type of comprehensive questions I'm getting. So yeah, I mean, look, of course, how do you feel with all the love that you get from your fans?
I think it's very humbling to have a fan base and to have listeners
Yeah.
because there are so many artists in the country and around the world and everyone's putting so much effort. So
Hmm.
to have a dedicated following amongst that, I think it's a blessing and I feel
Hmm.
very happy about it. I don't take it for granted at all, and I just want to do better and better and better for my followers. That's all. That's like I know my intention is very it's there. I don't know about my skill. I don't want to comment on any of that. But my intention of wanting to do something good for my followers, that's always been there and that's only getting better. Like, I just want to keep doing good stuff for them.
Yeah.
So I put a lot of effort for that because
Amazing.
I see the love. That's how I can reciprocate, right? Like
Yeah.
by paying attention to what I can release.
Mm. Mm. Of course, yeah. I mean, I did notice that they are super loyal to you, and
These
I
are
love.
just covers, but I'm going to do originals this year. So I'm so nervous about it
Yeah.
because I have this in my mind that I have this set of listeners who listen to me for something, and the original that is coming out, it's in a very different space. Actually,
Mm.
it's not like what I've done before, so I'm so nervous.
Right.
But we are really, we are trying, we're working very hard to make something that my viewers will enjoy and my listeners will enjoy listening to.
Right. And when can we expect?
That's next month, I guess,
Oh
October. I
yeah.
think.
Oh, it's not far.
Yeah, that's from Harry.
Great, great. And early on in the conversation, you said obviously ARR Sir's composition is your go-to, right?
Right.
So, what are some of your go-to songs of Sir's?
I think my go-to song when it comes to Rahman sir's music is Satya from the movie Satya, the title track.
Yeah.
Like I just love that song. I don't know how much, but I love it. And the entire album, in fact. And I love Kehna Hi Kya. Again, I had done a version of Kehna Hi Kya. That's one song which I love.
Yeah.
Guru as an album, Delhi Six, like all these albums, Swades. Oh my God, Swades. How can I miss that? I can't. Like if I start, it's going to be like one long list. You know.
I love listening to this. Keep going.
Yeah, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. I mean, there are so many songs, and I used to have these CDs, and I didn't even know those songs when I was a kid. I used to just burn them,
Yeah.
and I used to just listen to them, not knowing the language. But I was always so attracted to the sounds he used
Yeah.
and to the compositions. Like even if I didn't have the sensibility to understand what was going on, I was just attracted to the beauty of it, and it still happens, the magic. And if I feel sad about something, I think I listen to Rahman songs and I'm like, okay, life is good. There's nothing to be sad about.
Nice. And you mentioned Delhi Six. So, is there a song in particular or the entire album?
Uh, I used to love Arzia.
Yeah.
No, Arzia is from Delhi 6, right? Or is it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Arzia, yeah. Because I get confused between Kun Fa Kun is Rockstar, Arzia and Delhi 6.
Yeah.
So Arzia. Then Dil Gira Dafatan, one of my favorites. Then Rehna Tu, God, how can I forget that? And Rehna Tu, especially the unplugged version which Sir did, where he had that intro, which was not a part of the original song. I can never forget that. Like there were times, see, I'm not an early riser. I sleep very late. But sometimes I used to just wake up at 4 a.m. and just listen to that part. And I used to have tears in my eyes. I'm like, my God, what is this? It's just so crazy. So, like, we can't thank Sir enough for giving us these moments in life. It's not something I can explain. So what happens is when you are a part of the industry and when you do songs, like you're not a viewer anymore, not a listener anymore. So for me, I have to keep going back to that magic and I have to keep going back to the why. Like, why did I get into this whole thing?
Yeah.
Rahman sir is one of the major whys. Like when I heard him, I did feel like I want to be a part of this process where he's involved. I had that feeling as a kid. And I try to keep that intact by going back to stuff that inspired me and it still continues to inspire me.
Amazing. Amazing. And since you mentioned Renato, do you want to give it a crack? Maybe
Oh
one
God,
line.
I might mess up with the words, but रहना तो है जैसा तू, थोड़ा सा दर्द तू, थोड़ा सुकून, रहना तो है जैसा तू, धीमा धीमा झोंका या फिर जुनून, थोड़ा सा रेशम तू हमदम, थोड़ा सा खुरदुरा, कभी तो अड़ जा या लड़ जा या खुशबू से भरा, तुझे बदलना न चाहूं रत्ती भर भी सनम, बिना सजावट मिलावट न ज्यादा ना ही कम, तुझे चाहूं जैसा है तू, मुझे तेरी बारिश में भीगना है, गुल जाना है. You can't stop this song in the middle because it just continues. I know. I was like, 2 lines, right? Where do I stop? But it's a flow. And that's how Sir's songs are sometimes, You wonder how he's just put it. There's one string and there are these lines and you just can't cut it in the middle.
Because I was just curious to see at what point you were actually going to stop.
I was thinking to myself, why singing? Where do I stop this?
It's a difficult song too, and you did.
Yeah, it's difficult. I'm trying this after so long, So I don't know if I've messed up with the words, but I'm very sorry. If I
No, you sounded great. And you also collaborated with Clinton. And Clinton Cerejo is a very, very good friend of mine. We've been friends for more than 8 or 9 years. Wow. And he came on the podcast a week and a half ago, and it also got released. And yeah, it was amazing. He's my buddy. and very good buddy. And I was very happy looking at your collab with him too. So you want to tell me about it?
That was a part of Jamin.
Jamin, yes.
And that was the first season of Jamin, which was actually done by Kyuki.
Yeah.
And the final song had all the artists and Sir. I think that was the Hindi version. The Hindi version is called Yara. It's the Hindi of. Yeah, correct. Which was sung by Sid Sriram, right?
Correct.
So yeah, that was amazing because that was my first time working with Clinton, and it's an amazing composition. And the video shoot also, like, it was very nice because that was the first time I was a part of something so large scale, because they had made very good videos for all the songs. So it was directed very well, and I performed that song on stage for the final Jamming concert with Clinton and the band. And we also, the grand finale was Yara, which was the group song, which we performed with Sir. So I think it's like one of those unforgettable experiences. It was amazing.
And was it the first time you met Sir?
No, the first time I met Sir was in 2016. Jamin happened in 2017, if I'm not wrong, or 2016 end. But the first time I met Sir was in Bombay itself. And then the first time I met, even Javed Saab and Ashutosh Ji were there.
Right.
And that was the first time I met. But that was not the first song that released. What released first was Main Nigra, because after that I was called to Chennai for 13 days to stay there and to try some Tamil songs and things like that.
13 days?
Yeah, that story is very funny. I just went, I got a call and they said you have to come to Chennai. And that was on the same day. And they booked a flight and I packed just one pair of clothes because I didn't know when I had to come back. And I went there, and that night itself I recorded Main Nigra. That day I recorded something, and that night I recorded Main Nigra. And after that, I used to keep asking them if there's anything, like, you let me know, because I was staying there. Like, they didn't tell me to leave yet because they were like, what if there are more songs to track?
Yeah.
And I think around 5-6 days, like, there was something or the other to track over there. And after the 6th day, I think Sir forgot that I was still there. And I used to keep asking Jerry, I think not Jerry was there, Jerry or Chetan, one of the engineers. I used to keep asking, okay, is there anything now? Like, do I go back or do I stay? Yeah. And then one fine day, Sir sees me, like, you're still here? Yes, sir, you didn't ask me to go. So, and then that was the 13th day or the 12th day. And the 13th day I came back. So that's the story of 13 days in Chennai. Like, I think, like, within the first week itself, it was done, but I think Sir just forgot to tell me that, okay, you can go back home now.
So were you basically shuttling around the hotel and this studio, is it, or what?
Yeah, so they have an accommodation for all the singers who go there, right, which is outside the studio. So I was staying there itself. I still remember the room number 201. Like, I've taken pictures of all that. My first time in Chennai, living, next to Sir's studio recording. So these are like moments which I wanted to always cherish. So I stayed in the same room for like 13 days and I kept, practicing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's it. That was after that, whenever I've met Sir, it has been in Bombay. It was not. And then when I did MTV Unplugged, that was also in Bombay.
Right.
So my Chennai stint was like once, but that was like a good chunk of.
Yeah, right. And did Sir record you, is it?
Sorry? Yeah, he recorded me in Main Nigra, the Tamil song. Mohenjo Daro also, he was there, but even Javed Saab was there and they all were collectively. But that time Sir didn't record me. Sir recorded me during the Tamil song.
Yeah.
Because that time even Madan Karki Sir was over there and they were kind of jamming and improvising on the go. Like, they were discussing what words and what should be. And I think he was composing it on the spot and he was just telling me. I was like very nervous. I was just blank, and there was one portion which I wasn't getting right, and he said, "It's okay, you can spend the whole night trying that." So I said, "Okay, fine." So he's very, like, if he wants to get something out of someone, he's very patient and very kind.
Yeah.
Because I had really messed up, like certain places that I couldn't sing, but he was very patient. And yeah, probably if I meet him now, I'm a little more prepared is what I feel. You feel that, right? When you've met someone, you don't know how prepared you are, but I feel more prepared now than back then. But yeah.
So what did you talk to him when you met him for the first time ever?
I don't know what to say. I was just like...
You couldn't speak anything, rather.
I couldn't speak, and but he said a few things, and I think that time Ramzan was on,
Right.
and he asked me, no, like in Malayalam, he knows I'm a Mallu, so he asked me, am I fasting? I said, okay. But I took like a couple of minutes to just understand what he's trying to say. I was staring at it and I'm like, okay, he's talking now. I need to keep my mind open and process what he's saying. I can't just like look
Yeah.
at him, like this.
Yeah.
And then he asked me, like, you own a kaicho, like you have food. Because in Sir Studio, there is this practice where you eat from there itself, which is amazing. You don't have to order from out. They make it and give. Very amazing food over there. So he was very kind. And then he tested my voice in different styles, like in Western and in Hindustani and stuff. And I told Sir, I'm very nervous. So he said, no, don't worry. And then he left me with the engineer and he tracked my voice and they made Ashutosh ji listen to my voice samples.
Right.
Same day, that same night, we tracked Mohenjo-daro, and next day there were some corrections or some lyric changes. I did that as well. But see, when you do a film song, you don't know, right, if your voice is on.
Correct.
But I was very fortunate that it was kept, and
Right.
and I didn't like. There were other singers as my duet partners, but finally it was Sir himself doing it. So the first time I saw the title, it was like A.R. Rahman, Sana Mudati, Hrithika Roshan. I'm like, oh my god, what is this? I was so excited. But yeah, like these are things which you don't forget. It's amazing.
And which song did you record first for Mohenjo-daro?
I recorded Tu Hai. Tu Hai was the first one.
Right.
Yeah, and Sindhuma was in fact a part of that only. Sindhuma is actually Tu Hai, but it just has an extra verse.
Correct.
And Javed Saab was there to correct me with the pronunciations and everything.
Yeah.
And then in Mohenjo, I have a part which no one knows. My name is there in the credit, but nobody really knows what I've sung in that. It's the tribal part which goes on behind.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So,
okay.
Because Bela Shetty has done the main vocals, like the female vocals. I have not done anything.
I thought one of those parts were yours. Like,
I have done one tribal part. And Ashutosh ji told me ki just go wild, like don't use your training and all. You have to think like a tribal and sing that part.
yeah.
And I sang it, and it came out nice, but nobody really knows what that's about. Huh?
Do you remember what you sang?
If I sing it here, I'll like look like a jungly. Like,
give it a track. Give it a crack.
I don't know exactly, but it was like very raw, like. Something like that. Still, I'm putting some harkat in that, but उसमें तो उतना भी नहीं था. It was just screaming.
Yeah.
And it was very. I was finding it very funny initially, but then I just like did it.
Yeah. Nice. Amazing. And especially about Mohenjo-daro, right? I remember watching Sir's interviews during the time of the release back then.
Right.
Obviously, he said that he was basically, it was his imagination about what the music would have been during that time.
Right.
And then that's how he went about creating it. Has Sir mentioned anything about that during your recordings and stuff, or you have heard him speak about it?
So they were very particular about one thing, that they didn't want a lot of harkats in the voice.
Right.
Because it doesn't come from an age of training, right? It's something which was very, like, people sang as a part of, it was not like to do playback, right? Back then. Today we have an AM when we sing, but back then that music was a part of that culture. And it was not about training and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was very raw. So they wanted to keep things very raw. And they were very, Sir and Ashutosh, they were very particular about that it shouldn't be very fancy.
Right.
Just imagine that you are a part of that, and how would you sing? To be very natural and like a non-singer, basically, not like a singer.
So and in Sindhuma, obviously, Sir's part, extremely magical when his part comes in, and then.
Absolutely.
So, anything you want to share about that particular song?
So I didn't know Sir was singing that part.
Right.
Because I was in the studio, there was another singer trying that. But
Right.
I think then, of course, Ashutosh ji must have wanted a particular, flavor to it, which only Sir could bring at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because after hearing Sir, I was like, yeah, like this is the right fit for it. The way he sang it and the way he wrote it. It
Yeah.
was so amazing. Like how you said, it was so magical.
Indeed.
So I was very surprised to hear it because I didn't know it would be Sir singing. So when I saw it, I was my first song with Sir is a duet with Sir, which is crazy.
And look, it's an actually an amazing soundtrack, right? I absolutely love all the songs, and then even the instrumentals which are there, the
Right.
shimmer of something, whatever that was called, and then the whispers something.
Yeah, they had a few instrumental tracks on the
Yeah.
album. Right,
It's
correct.
just amazing. And then for me, the entire soundtrack is a package. And so we as hardcore fans, we cherish it, we listen to it even today, like on a daily basis, songs like that and soundtrack like that. But what I want to ask you is, obviously, do you have were you a bit disappointed that the movie obviously didn't do very well, and obviously what it could have otherwise done didn't happen?
Uh, Honestly speaking, I wasn't disappointed
Mm.
because I I couldn't ask for more. Getting a chance to sing for
Yeah,
Rahman sir,
with Rahman sir.
with Rahman sir, and such a huge banner. Because see, these things keep happening. Like
Yeah.
a film might work, not work, but people put there's so much effort gone behind it, right? Like whether it's a soundtrack or it's a film,
Mm.
whether it works out or no, it's really not in our hands after a point of time. So
Mm.
I didn't really take that I didn't take that to my heart. I mean, imagine what the filmmakers would have felt right at
Correct.
that time.
Correct.
What I feel is really insignificant compared to what they must have felt. So thinking about that, I really didn't think of it that way. I was very happy that I could be a part of it because if it's something nice, it stays. Or even today, like there are so many people making reels on Tu Hai, and
Mm.
it stays. That song still is there in people's minds, and
Mm.
even the unplugged version was appreciated a lot. It still is appreciated. So
Correct.
I didn't really think of it that way. I
Mm.
just looked at the bright side of it that I got to work with Sir. Mm, yeah.
Nice. How did you feel when the soundtrack obviously released and you saw your name in the credits?
I didn't know what to. I didn't know how to. Actually, the first song that released was Me Nigara, not Mohenjo-daro, like with Sir.
Right.
Though I had recorded the song.
Right.
So one student from KM who is now a producer, a music producer, he sent me an image saying that did you sing with Sir? And I didn't know that the audio had already come out.
Mm.
And when he sent the image to me, that's when I realized that it's like the song is out. So I couldn't believe it. I was just going mad, and even my family, they were like super duper excited about it. And we went for the launch to Chennai. I won't forget that launch because we had an amazing time there. And Sir, he mentioned my name on stage, and he's like, "There's a new talent also on this album." It was very sweet of him to, he invited all the singers on stage. Very, very sweet of him to do that.
Mm.
So yeah, that experience was something that I won't forget. That Oda de Tikari Oda. Whenever I hear those lines, I just get transported to those Chennai days.
13 days.
Yeah, Mohenjo-daro, unfortunately, like when the music launch was planned, it was a very end moment thing, I guess. And I was doing a show, I think in Lucknow or Jodhpur, I can't remember. And they told me a day prior to the launch, and I couldn't make it like for the launch, for the music launch of Mohenjo-daro.
Right.
But nevertheless, the memory of seeing it on the big screen,
Mm.
like my family, my friends, everyone. I think we had around 15 people booked and sitting together and watching it.
Nice. And so, do you go back and listen to your songs?
Not really. I don't.
Why?
I don't know. It makes me nervous for some reason because
Is it?
I'm a person who will keep thinking, oh, what could I have done better over there? That's my thought process when I listen to my own songs. Like
Mm.
even if, for example, someone's talking to me, this happens quite often. Like I'm going to a party or something, and a friend of mine will play my song over there. And I'd be like, okay, now why did you play? I don't want to hear. I get into that mode where I keep thinking, oh, this could have been done that way. This could have been done that way. So for this reason, I don't really revisit my songs.
Right.
When I hear it in reels and stuff, and when I see them, people performing to it, that's when I hear it. Or else I don't really revisit my songs. I
Don't
don't.
actually go back and hit the play button of your own song.
No,
Usually.
I don't generally like. Sometimes I've done it, but I avoid doing it. That's a better way to put it. Yeah.
It's kind of it's a very seems like a very normal thing for most singers where they don't go back and listen to their own songs because they get very picky about, hey, I could
Yeah,
have done this better. And
yeah. I think many singers must be relating to this. What I'm talking about. Like, it's
mm,
you keep thinking, and especially if you're someone who keeps thinking about, like, I keep thinking about these things. Oh, this could have been better. This I could have sung it this way. This should have been that way.
yeah,
And oh, I sound like this now. I used to sound like that then. So when you think about things which you can't, control, it
mm,
starts affecting you. So it's better to not revisit it. That's how I
right,
look at it.
right. And what's your riyaz like on obviously your daily riyaz? And are you
So
usually a morning person? You do it early in the morning, and is that your
I'm
prime
not a
time?
morning person, but one thing that my Guruji has told is the moment you wake up, even if it's in the afternoon, start doing riyas. Like that's the instruction he's given me.
Right.
So after I finish my sleep, I wake up and I improvise on any rag. Like now, currently, I'm learning, not learning, I'm practicing Bhairavi.
Mm,
Before that, it was Patadeep. So I take a rag and I keep improvising. And every Friday is like when I have to, do a class with Sir. We have an online class.
mm.
So every Friday I have to sing for him like a good half an hour, 45 minutes. I have to,
Uh,
yeah, like I have to emphasize on the things. I have to make my phrases improvise. And he'll keep on telling me what can be added to it. So what he'll give me a set of thoughts to work on. Then I'll work on that for the next week.
mm,
And then when he's happy with that, we'll move on to the next track. So
mm,
that is my prayers. But sometimes it gets a little taxing to do rag because you have to constantly think,
mm.
and sometimes you are not in the frame of mind to think. So that time I sing simple patterns like
Mm.
just some sargam, which I don't have to use my mind too much for, but
Right.
I can just sing simple patterns which can keep my vocal cords engaged even if my mind is not engaged, so
Right.
that's how
Right.
I know about it.
And obviously with the songs and the stuff that you recorded for, sir, must have happened in the night for obvious reasons. So, and you're not a night person,
No, no,
and
I am a night
you
person.
are a night person.
I am
Right.
a night person.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So it was easier for you to do it.
Yeah, it was.
Right.
I do prefer working in the night, and even Mainigar, I think they recorded at 12 a.m. or 1 a.m. in the night. I remember.
Okay.
And I think even Mohenjo-daro was recorded quite late.
Right.
So even all of them, because even the engineers, like they all of them work at night, right? So we end up recording at night, and I like that time to record the silence, and it's nice. And I think even the voice is open because you've used it through the day. It's better than recording in the morning.
Right. Right. And are you very particular about your diet in terms of these are the things that I shouldn't eat, which will affect my voice, like ice creams and things? Oh,
I eat ice cream, but see, there are certain things which I naturally don't like. Like I don't like aerated drinks, so I'm saved.
right.
Because if I was addicted to that, it would be very, very difficult for me. But I can have say a sip of Coke only with pizza, not otherwise.
Right.
So that is one thing which is ruled out.
Yeah.
And I don't smoke, so that's not an issue as well. Like see, some people for them like they use it for the to bring that extra texture and depth to their voice. Some people smoke for that.
Oh, really?
That is another school of thought,
Okay.
totally. But like I have a very delicate voice, so I have to naturally stay away from things which affect it.
Right.
But otherwise, food-wise, I eat everything. I eat ice creams, I eat fried stuff. But if I'm recording, then I think a day prior, I don't
Hmm.
eat heavy. I don't eat very spicy. And even dairy, I think it's nice to avoid.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, like because I'm slightly, I get phlegm when I have dairy.
Right.
So
Right.
otherwise, no restriction as such. I eat everything. I'm a foodie, so it's very difficult to stay away from food.
Nice. And look, I the fact that you have learned Carnatic in your childhood.
Right,
You obviously do practice certain ragas and stuff even now,
right,
don't you?
right.
So, which one is your favorite raga?
So actually now, because I'm learning Hindustani and not Carnatic, I really enjoy singing Yaman. I enjoy singing Deepalas. Yaman is like, because that's the first rag I started with my sir.
Right,
I think that has like my favorite top spot.
right.
Yeah,
Anything you want to sing? Maybe two lines. It can
Yaman.
be Carnatic or it can be Hindustani.
So I can sing a ghazal which is based on Yaman. So I think that will
Yeah,
be
go
easy
for it.
for the listeners also to. रुदा दे मोहब्बत क्या करिए रुदा दे मोहब्बत क्या करिए कुछ याद रहे कुछ भूल गए दो दिन मसरत क्या करिए क्या करिए. So it's
Beautiful.
Nire Gamadani Sa. This is the feel of Yaman,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
if you listen to it, it's based on that.
Beautiful. Very nice. And look, coming towards the end of the podcast,
Okay.
it's been so cool to talk to you, and of course, look,
Same here. Have an
and
amazing.
and also the folks from the I Love Era community wanted to pass on a lot of love over to you,
Thank you so
and
much.
they
Really looking
wanted me
forward
to
to it.
tell you that look, we really love what you do, and keep doing the great stuff, and just be focused, and the way in which you treat the covers as well, it's very well regarded. So yeah, just passing it on.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I have a request that when my original songs are out, I want you to share it with your community.
I will.
And I'm really excited about it because I've been doing covers and film songs for a while, but for me as a composer, this is my first track. So
Right.
I would really love to have everyone's thoughts on it and know what people think about it.
For sure. What we will do is we'll probably do an Instagram live or something when you're
Yeah,
live,
sure.
and that way you can interact with some of the members of the community.
Super, super, sounds good.
And now, before I let you go, of course, there are a couple of things. And yeah, there was definitely one request from one of the fans, and he said, please do ask her experience about working in the MTV Unplugged with Sir.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he said, bro, I'll kill you if you don't ask me. So
Uh, it was magical because so in MTV Unplugged they rearrange parts,
right,
right? Like it's not exactly like how it's played in the original.
yeah.
So there was a string section, and then there was flute. When
Mm,
Naveen Anand was playing, and there was one more player as well, and there was harp. So everything was like it felt like a musical, like when everything was around you and the beautiful set.
mm,
I was nervous, to be very honest. Like all said and done, I was very nervous. But once the music started, I think I just stopped feeling nervous, and I sang, and then Sir sang. So everything just fell in place, especially when Naveenana starts with that flute solo and when they do that Jugalbandi, like the start portion of Tu Hai, if you hear it,
yeah,
it's the flute section, right?
correct, correct.
Which really stands out from the original song because that isn't there. That's not there at all.
I love
So
it.
when that started, and I was like, wow, I feel so blessed to be here amidst such amazing musicians.
Mm,
And when I saw the final thing on, because that was, I think, the first song on the first episode of MTV Unplugged season 6, if I'm not wrong.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that was like the opening track, if I'm not, I can't really recollect, but I think it was the first song.
I think it
So
was.
I was like, I was very happy about it. And
Nice.
something to cherish for the rest of my life.
Beautiful. And so, with that said, two tiny things. One
Yes.
is a message for Sir via this podcast, and I will share it to him. And
Wow.
and maybe two lines of any song that you like as a dedication to Sir.
Okay. First of all, I really don't know what to say to Sir. I'm pretty sure he knows that because I get really tongue tied in front of Sir. So I'm feeling that now. Even if you're telling me, and even if Sir is not sitting in front of me, I still feel the pressure. But thank you so much, Sir, for giving us a lifetime of memories, happiness, music, and something that we can all go back to. And it's an emotion. Your music is an emotion. It's just not music, and it's spiritual. It's almost spiritual. Like listening to it, you feel so connected to yourself. I feel so connected to myself, and I really I have no words to say what I feel when I listen to Sir's music, and I feel really really grateful. Like I keep praying for Sir, like for his good health, that because we want so much more from Sir. We want to hear so much more music. We feel this, right, that it's not enough what we got. We want more, and I really really hope that all of us we keep getting great music from you, and that's it. Thank you.
Beautiful. Great.
पल भर ठहर जाए, दिल ये संभल जाए, कैसे तुम्हें रोका करूं, मेरी तरफ आता हर गम फिसल जाए, आँखों में तुमको भरूं, बिन बोले बातें तुमसे करूं, अगर तुम साथ हो, अगर तुम साथ हो.
Beautiful. Love it. Love it. I absolutely loved it. I'll share this to Sir. He'll, I'm sure.
Oh God, no. Okay, you show it to me and then we'll see. Okay.
You'll be fine. Don't worry. And I know we have touched on various topics. I think I have managed to cover everything that I wanted to talk about. Is there anything that I didn't talk about and you wanted to touch on? I don't want you to walk away thinking, hey, I didn't speak about this. Would have loved to speak about that. Is there anything?
I think we spoke about everything, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, covers, work with Sir, original, process, everything I think is covered, right? And my riyas and...
Okay. As long as you're happy.
Yeah. Because generally everything is like when we have a conversation for 10 to 15 minutes, but when it's an hour-long conversation, I think you get a chance to speak about everything. So
yeah, I loved it. So look, before I let you go, let's take a selfie, and so it's super easy. You just have to face the camera and then pose. So we will take two pictures.
okay.
One normal picture and the other one is like a funny face. How are you? So we'll go with them.
Yeah, come on, let's.
Yeah, what were you saying? You were saying something?
When we make a funny face, I'll first see what funny face you are making, and then I will.
I'll just make something like this, that's all. But you can do anything you want. Okay, normal wala picture. Okay? At the count of 3.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. I'll have to do this again. That didn't quite work. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and yes, that's good. And now, funny face.
Okay.
At the count of 3.
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.